Hello, I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. Today's topic is going to be paused as for domestic violence culture, as for the examples. I'm going to be giving a detailed video based upon my first experience that I had said that I was giving little details about, and going over my feelings as for what has happened to me and what I've been going through. So, I'll start from the beginning. Now, the incident had riled up, as I stated, I was discussing Asuka and Rumster, and how the person Asuka was trying to have control over me, and it panned out to where even friends had noticed, that the way he was speaking to me was different, based upon, just texts. And it just got worse until that one person that I had trusted, the one with the rainbow over them, ended up doing the thing that I never would have imagined or even thought possible that this person could do. And it was very hurtful. And when that happened, I was filled with confusion, because this was the first time that this person actually even yelled at me when doing this thing. And I ended up calling a friend, just based on suggestions, of what I could do. I mean, at that time, I really just wanted to pretend like it didn't happen. And many victims feel that way. They just want to pretend that the incident didn't happen. And that's exactly how I felt. Because, of course, like I said, there's the grievance part, and how that victim, depending on the person, how they felt about them. So like I had stated, when I had met Grumster, I, for the first time, felt a connection with that person, as for trusting and feeling safe with them, as thinking they were a really good person. And it grew even stronger. And like I had stated, he's the first relationship, intimate partnership that I actually had, certain feelings for, as for the relationship itself. And like first time, ever kissed, and holding hands even with that person, and just feeling safe and secure, and other things that were sentimental to me, that meant a lot to me. And it's extremely hard knowing that I had that with that one person, and they ended up doing that one thing. So this one person, of course, they told me I should report it, that I shouldn't, continue that relationship. And I was iffy about it. The one person that actually convinced me to report it and not see this person again, because they basically told me I'd be an idiot if I went back and tried to make the relationship work. It was actually a sharp-fartrick drug addict, and that would have been Brian. And he ended up telling me, he said, well, you know what, I'm going to introduce you to other female friends that ended up going back to the person that did them harm like that, and ended up getting worse. So that instilled fear in me, of course. He said, if you let him get away with this, imagine what worse things he's going to do to you. That's exactly what that friend said. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll report it. I really didn't want to, but those two people were concerned about my safety. I honestly didn't feel fearful physically of this person who did this to me. I, of course, did not feel safe with them, as to where I'd, do things I did before with them, like be alone with them or do anything like that, as to where something like that could happen again. I honestly wanted to work things out as to where it wouldn't happen again, because as a victim, you don't want to have that loss. The consequences are depending on the situation as to how you've seen that person. I saw that person as somebody that would be forever in my life, even if it didn't work out as to where it would be an intimate partnership and we just stayed friends. Just like I had to do with Ken, I had to, have that loss. It's like I actually saw Ken as a friendship that would last long term, in a long time. Maybe not forever, but I thought it would last, and how I thought of him, and the things that, I would be, losing as to the friendship I had with him. And with Grumpster, it's the same thing. I mean, as with my father, as what I was going through when I was trying to escape, I kept on thinking about all the things of before he abused me and started abusing me, and before it got really bad, as to what I'm losing, as in what I had, but I had to remember what it became. Now with Grumpster, I really honestly didn't know how that would pan out. Of course, I know myself that, once abuse starts, it usually gets worse and they keep stepping it up. And that's basically what happened. It started when Asuka got involved in the way he started talking to me and been, being disrespectful, doing what Ken did, which was ghosting me, and not talking to me as much and treating me much differently. It ended up to where that one incident happened. So it was extremely hard, through all of this, because the one person that I entrusted that actually told me to report and tell me I'm stupid for going back, they ended up wanting a drug fix. So it was actually Brian that started the rumors here. I actually wanted to keep this down under. I know the first person I told would have kept their mouth shut, but it was Brian that actually started rumors. I mean, using somebody's traumatic experience out of revenge, because all it was a, fight on the phone, and he ended up getting together with this person and Asuka, the stalker, who was, trying to control me, and ended up being in jealousy and an obsession, to the point where it got onto, Grumpster, where he started doing more. So anyways, this person, the Shafartrick dumbass, inhumane, self-centered prick, ends up, getting mad at me because I was hurt that he actually went out with these people after they've done all this. And, just so he could get his drugs, so what a little douchebag asshole. He ends up going outside to the gossiping, bullying cult clans in this apartment complex. And there was 12 of them out there sitting out in the front of the apartment building with each other, with him. They're, telling them stuff about me and based upon what happened. I didn't want anybody else to know about my situation. Like I felt with Ken, the same thing. There's that shit stirrer that told him that I shared his address publicly, and that something about him wanting to come here to Florida to have sex with me, or saying that I wanted him to marry me. Who knows what was said? I have no idea what Brian said, but I know it was based upon me because those rumors went all around. I did my little detective work to see, what these people were saying. Everybody thinks that it was me that was, going around saying, but I was actually questioning people, and I brought it up because I already know they knew, because that Shafartrick, drug addict, dumbass jerk ended up spreading these rumors right away. I actually walked out on him doing it, so it was actually him that started it, so I actually went up to a few people, like one person I even said, so you want to believe a drug addict, who has a felony, on his record, go right ahead, be a dumbass. I actually went up to the Grumpster's ex-girlfriend, who's in a part of this bullying cult clans, and hangs out with these people, and even confronted her with her two other, buddies, they're in that clan too. And, I told them, I said, just ignore it, Of course, her answer was, well, what am I supposed to do? Just ignore it, just, sit there and not listen. Just sitting there and listening, you're still a follower of these bullying cult clans, and you're engaging, encouraging, and enabling the abuse to continue. So everybody, of course, because even Brian, the Shafartrick drug addict dumbass, knows that it was going to fall back on me, as though I was the one that was going around, doing all these things, when it was actually him that started that as revenge against me. Most people would think that I was trying to have revenge on this person. I actually don't want any harm on this person. I really don't. And many would say I'm dumb for not wanting that, especially after what they did. But it's not even the action. It was based upon my feelings for that person and feeling hurt and whatnot. I actually wanted a way to resolve it where I wouldn't end up getting hurt again, and it would actually be helpful for that person too. You know, like I stated in my last video, is that just like with Ken, my father, I feel the same way with Grumpster. I have no hate for them, and I really hope the best for them, and I actually hope that, you know, even Grumpster for this situation is that, you know, he really thinks about what he did so he doesn't do it again, you know, to somebody who actually had good intentions for him, because that's exactly what I had. He's the first person, you know, that I've, you know, known that I had certain feelings for and actually thought it would last forever. You know, so it's a loss for me too, and I'm still grieving over that as for my feelings based upon that person, and it's extremely hard for me dealing with just that. Never mind, on top of it is that these, you know, gossip, no good asshole, self-centered pricks end up getting involved in it and going around and using it, you know, for their joy of shit stirring and causing trouble. You know, I mean, these are the, you know, it's called the sloppy hypocritical ageism, where these are, you know, grown adults going around and shit stirring and causing more trouble, you know. So as you can see, is that I've encountered quite a bit during this time. You know, I ended up getting stalked and harassed, you know, the same guy that spit on me, you know, but, you know, I don't even care about him, you know. I'm still at the spot where I actually, you know, feel guilt based upon, you know, doing what I did, as to, even though it was something I had, you know, is I'm not at fault. Like everybody says, they keep telling me, you're like, you're not at fault for what happened to you. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. I know I didn't, but I honestly hope that throughout all this, in some way, that this situation can get resolved. And just like I felt, again, you know, all those people in the gossiping, bullying cult clans, and anybody that engages, encourages, and enables it, you know, mind your own business. Because, you know, if you're going to be involved in stuff like that, then that shows upon you, not me. And also to the Shafartric douchebag drug addict friend, you know, that's the person that I look down upon the most for starting all this stuff and using me in the situation that was already extremely hard on me, and using that against me to cause, you know, more pain on me. So I just wanted to go over, based upon what's been happening to me and what I've been going through afterwards. So that'll be it for now. I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. I'll see you next time.